Welcome, everybody, to A2D Radio special swap tonight, boys. Niche Night's going to look a little different on Thursday because we have swapped, and that is because we're bringing that lazy booking at you tonight on a special night, Tuesday night, to do live reaction following the NXT title match that we just saw between Finn Balor and Adam Cole. I am Chrome with my co-host, my regular co-host, Maddie here, as well as Ritz, Maddie, as well as Ritz from In This Very Ring.
What's going on,
Ritz,
gentlemen?
Thanks for joining us, buddy. We want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy. You can find him in Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton, New Jersey. Find him on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Also to Ambuck Services. You need any gutter guards, gutter cleaning, tree trimming, deck installation, restoration, any kind of outside work needed, particularly now. Maybe you're trying to get your house in order to wrap up things for the summer. Hit up Michael Ambrose at ambuckservices.com. Let them know that A2D sent you. And guess what, guys? 20% off. They're the best in the business. So make sure you hit those guys up. Shout out to our boy over there, Andy, wearing a great shirt. And you know where that wonderful shirt comes from, guys? PhillyDrakers.com by Alex. Alex runs a great ship over there. And I'll tell you what, you need any kind of A2D merch, show shirts, regular A2D shirts, Philadelphia sports inspired shirts. Hey, they got their own collection as well. Check that out as well. We got shorts, we got tumblers, we got anything and everything for everybody. We got stickers. Check them out, PhillyDrakers.com. Hey, you want a Philadelphia Quarterback Factory shirt, guys? I got mine. Go get yours. It's a great shirt. If you use the promo code A2D, you're going to get 25% off that shirt. Not your whole order. That shirt. It's great. Go check it out at PhillyDrakers.com. Our topic of conversation from QB54, the best tailgating game in the business.
Ooh.
And by the way, guys, go pick it up. Play QB54.com, promo code A2D. Also get you 20% off on that. That is Finn Balor needs the NXT title more than Adam Cole. Agree, disagree. Guys, lots to talk about. It's pretty clear we have the official, I mean, we kind of figured it was coming, but we have the official face turn of Finn Balor, though he's talking, and I can't really hear it because we're on the air.
So what you just missed, though, because I have it on down in front of me, he's walking through the back, and Triple H stops him and talks to him a little bit. Adam Cole comes up. I don't know what they say amongst each other, and then they too sweet each other, and Adam Cole walks off.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So if you're joining us, guys, we appreciate you in the chat. Please feel free to drop your comments in, your questions, anything you guys want to talk about, boys. We're here and we're ready to share with you. But we're also going to talk a little bit of a reaction and recap from AEW All Out, which I thought was a train wreck personally, and I'll be happy to share those thoughts.
A very interesting opinion.
That's a great opinion. That might be his best one yet.
For a minute. There we go. You might have lost me for a quick second.
No, we didn't at all.
I hope Frodo got that on camera. I hope there's a screenshot of that.
We're going to defer to Andy Ritter first here, guys. Ritz, what's your opinion on the poll question? Was the right man selected to move forward with his second title reign now as NXT champion?
Absolutely, he was. When you go back, let's go back to last week at the Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match, which ended in a total schmoz. All three men were two-time champions, with the exception of Finn Balor, right? Mm-hmm. So, number one, he needs it for that. He needs it, and they kind of telegraphed it at that point. You knew he was going to become a two-time champion. Plus, if you look at everybody else, what has Finn really been doing? And he's really been doing nothing since he came back. Since he came back from doing his little stint at NXT UK, right? There's nothing that he's doing. He's been messing around with, Damian Priest. He's been messing around with Timothy Thatcher, getting a win. But now he's actually finally doing something that is relevant. By the way, I didn't realize Shotzi Blackheart was that much taller than Io Shirai, but that's besides the point. But no, it's knowing that he now has the title and he's going to move forward with it. I'm a little upset we didn't get to see anything with UE. I was kind of liking that with what I dropped in some of the different wrestling groups today about, who would win. A lot of people were enjoying the idea of UE turning, signing with Balor to go against Imperium and different things of that nature. But this is good for Balor. Now he's back to the top. He's at the top of the pit. He's at the mountaintop. Rules over it. The prince rules the kingdom once again. And it gives him the ability to do more. All right. Someone's got a train going through?
That's from me, because
Oh, okay.
I live right near railroad tracks. So
okay, that makes sense.
It wants you to get on the AEW bandwagon, Chrome. That's what it's here for. It wants you to become one of the smarks who watch AEW all the time and pray to God
and
that
enjoy it.
Yeah, and constantly have to try and beat NXT on a Wednesday night because God forbid they ever do anything wrong.
But no, A-Train.
A-Train, yeah.
And I guess we lost Chrome for a moment, right? He's having some internet issues over on his end. But to kind of keep the conversation, Maddie, and then I'm going to throw it over to you, right?
Sure.
He's able to do more. He's going to be relevant again. He needed this more so than ever now after coming off of a very stale run on the back end. Right, on the back end of his return from injury. From the catch and strain. on the back end of his injury. Now it's time for him to be back at that mountaintop where he kind of made his mark in NXT.
For me, when I would look at for Balor to be the new NXT champion, I do think that it's important for him to have it right now because, as he's continuing to he's repackaging himself as the Prince again and doing the whole Bullet Club, sign and everything like that, as he's building himself back up and kind of rebuilding the brand of what, Balor is, I think that the title does help him continue that and continue to make those strides. And for Cole, it's not necessary. He's already, he beat Pat McAfee at NXT TakeOver, had a great match with him. Quite frankly, Cole really doesn't need to win the NXT title ever again. He could go on to start going into programs for the WWE title and the Universal title at this point. He's done so much in that regard that it's almost like, for me, I feel like the next step is eventually seeing him break away from the Undisputed Era and go on his own at this point.
Yeah, it's an interesting take, Maddie. I apologize, guys, because I did drop off if I repeat anything that anybody said. But I definitely think they made the right decision. I had a lot of growing concerns. I felt like Balor's return to NXT was great to begin with. I'm happy to see that they didn't go back to the Demon and they kind of started going with the Prince, the Prince mentality that he had previously. So I thought that was really smart by them. However, it's very odd because he continued to win matches and win feuds, but they were very underwhelming feuds. They were very kind of under the radar and overshadowed by guys like the Velveteen Dream, by the Adam Coles, and rightfully so, and the rise of Keith Lee. However, Balor has continued, I think, to really honor that character, and I feel like he needs this to justify the move back down to NXT, because at that point he may as well have stayed up as a mid-carder fighting for the Intercontinental U.S. title at that point. But also, I think it's well-deserved. I think Balor is a guy who could really hold a lot of feuds. And I think when we talked about it, guys, and if I'm wrong, you kind of let me know on it. Brinkman he thinks that the Demon Balor sucks. I like it. I just think that it needed a rest for a while.
I don't think it stunk. I think when they utilized it, it was fine. I think when they did it with the Lashley rivalry, it was a bit of a stretch.
Yeah. What's up, Raymond?
For the most part, I thought they'd used him fine.
Well, that's what happens to Brinkman's own admission, right? He's got a bone up on his wrestling, right? Demon Balor, I think, was for where they used it, where they utilized it for, other than obviously the Lashley thing. It made a ton of sense. It worked. It was not something like The Undertaker that you saw every single week, every single night. You saw it when it mattered. You saw it when you needed to really, climb the mountaintop per se, and him himself just was not doing it. He had to harness the power of the demon. And so I think the Demon Balor is fantastic.
Yeah. Great question by Ted. Ted, we'll get to that in 1 second, actually, because it did kind of screw up our start time for the show tonight.
Kind of.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of right along with you guys. I think that, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when we thought about, hey, he's going to be back in NXT and we're going to see some real different feuds that we haven't seen from him yet, and we started that way with Johnny Gargano.
Mm-hmm.
I think we thought we would see Gargano and Ciampa, and we kind of got Ciampa a little bit, but I don't think we really got anything to the level that we expected. There was no sustained, no sustained feuds. I felt like that he had, but I feel like now putting him in that featured spot, we know what he can do with the NXT title. We know what kind of champion he can be, and the quality of matches they could have. I absolutely think that he needed it. I think you'd had to worry at this point too if he was going to return to Japan. Or maybe look at AEW when the opportunity came up, or anywhere. I mean, I don't think he would go to Impact Wrestling. To me, it would be Japan or AEW. But I really think that I think they made the right decision here, guys. And to the question, well, Anthony says Balor should get a push on SmackDown or Raw, not NXT, just like other wrestlers should get a better push. I don't disagree with you, Anthony. I don't think any of us disagree that he could have been pushed to the moon. I think the injury to him after SummerSlam when he won the Universal title definitely derailed that. You know, it's tricky, boys. It's very tricky because everybody wants everyone to get pushed, but there's only so many main event spots.
It's not even that there's so many main event spots, right? Let's really boil it down to what it is. We've got a saying in my youth group. What's our favorite 4-letter word? It's time. There's only so much time to put these people on air and really give them the push that people would deserve. And the other side of that coin is no one's ever happy. It's never enough.
You know, if Balor's on top, they're going to complain that Ziggler's not getting a push. It's everybody wants everyone to get pushed to the moon. It just can't happen. I like the idea of Balor in NXT. For one thing, right now, there's no crowds. It doesn't make a difference who's where. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. And honestly, there's a reason why guys like Gargano and Ciampa, who very easily could be top guys in any of the WWE Raw or SmackDown shows on AEW or anywhere else in the world, could be top guys, love NXT. They love NXT.
Yeah. And also another thing too.
Andy. Great advice. I agree.
Yeah, we were talking about how you were talking about Chrome, how at times Finn had been in rivalries that kind of got overshadowed by a lot of the bigger players at that time on NXT. Not that Balor isn't a big player, but they were doing bigger programs. And so the thing is like that's going to happen on NXT because again, when you've got so much good going on, it's very easy to get overshadowed. Even if you put on a great match, it doesn't matter. You can put on one of the best matches of all time, but if it gets overshadowed by something, it gets overshadowed. It's just the way it happens.
Yeah, and you know what, guys? I mean, and I want to hear from the chat as well. I feel that his original return to NXT was almost kind of snake bitten to start because they started this hot angle with Johnny Gargano, and then Gargano got hurt. So now that's kind of put on the back burner, and we have to fill space in between then. In the meantime, in that period of time, you started to see the rise of Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic and all these other talents in NXT. I mean, NXT is a deep, deep roster. In terms of just the talent alone, I would put them up against AEW. I would put them up against any other roster in the world. And I think that they're neck and neck in terms of the hot talent that's there. Oh, yeah. And I do honestly feel that in terms of this, I think it was kind of it got derailed from the beginning. It took us a while to get here. I think Cole was a hot champion. I think when COVID hit too, guys, the uncertainty of trying to create a new
Oh, okay.
Still got me?
What?
Now we do.
Okay.
The uncertainty of a new what, sir?
The uncertainty of trying to crown a new champion. I'm sorry, my Wi-Fi is being weird right now. the uncertainty of trying to crown a new champion and get it over when nobody knew what was going on, I think was very difficult. Adam Cole was the ideal guy at that time to continue to carry that flag. Then as Keith Lee emerged through the pandemic, I think that kind of solidified, okay, we can go this route. And now, obviously, things have kind of opened up and they've started to get their footing. I just think it's the right time with what's happened with Karrion Kross. And I also believe, don't be surprised, guys. Listen, guys, don't be shocked if we get the return of the Demon to go against Karrion Kross in his return.
Right. Well,
would not shock me.
We talked about that as well. You know, how Cross versus Demon Balor, because of how Scarlett and Karrion are portrayed, right? Good God, man. Are you drinking a whole Mountain Dew?
No, because we never answered the question about do we think it should have went on last. Well, normally, I have a glass and everything's set up because we had to rush on the air because we thought it was going to close out the show and we were supposed to start later. I just kind of grabbed the bottle out of the fridge and that's where I'm at. Sorry about that.
So I'm going to touch on Ted's question in just a second. Yeah. But to go back to the Balor thing, right? Balor as a Demon versus Karrion Kross is going to be great. It's going to be money. And when you can kind of see how they're going to take us there with Scarlett and this kind of sage, mystic stuff she's bringing back to the table that has been very far gone from WWE since the days of really The Undertaker.
Yeah. Well,
and then as far as Balor's return, right? It was, like you said, it was snake bitten because of Johnny getting hurt. And then they were like, okay, we're going to try to have him do something with Walter. And then COVID hits, and Walter has to go back to the UK so he doesn't get stuck over here for God knows how long. And then Balor was just kind of sitting in limbo. And while you're in limbo, you're having people, like you said, like Dominic Dijakovic, like Keith Lee, like Adam Cole, like Johnny has come back in a weird sort of a way. And all these other guys really popping off. And you're putting him in the ring. You're putting Finn Balor in the ring with Damian Priest, Timothy Thatcher. Not to say these guys are nobodies, but when other... All right, Damian Priest, maybe.
Damian Priest is about as vanilla of a superstar as I've ever seen in terms of personality. Thatcher, to me, he's a guy you have to have a taste for it. He's that kind of brooding, bruising type of guy, but we have Pete Dunne, who does the exact same thing and has a hell of a lot more personality and charisma. So I'm not a big Thatcher guy personally. To me, it's not a big program.
Well, no, it wasn't a big program at all. It was just kind of there, right? He was existing. Balor was the biggest thing about that program. And Balor winning was kind of a foregone conclusion. You knew it was going to happen. So there was no reason. And I'm a huge Balor mark. I love Balor, right? And most of it's because of the demon side of him, right? But he's so versatile when you look at his character. When you look at the things that he's able to do. His ring work, his mic work, all of it. It's fantastic. But I don't understand. No, I shouldn't even say that. Shouldn't even say it like that. We know COVID destroyed all plans they had for everything. Mm-hmm. It destroyed everything they had for Balor. The only saving grace that Balor had was that all three shows started to look the same because they were coming out of the Performance Center.
Yeah.
You were just on a different night with different colored ropes.
Yep. Agreed. Anthony down here says there's wrestlers in Impact and AEW, even in New Japan, that are showing real talent. Then they sign with WWE and then they tail off.
Not 100% accurate.
No, I would. There is some truth to that. However, I could go the other route as well. I mean, we're talking about. I mean, is anybody excited about the WWE talent that's going to AEW at this point? I'll give you. Maybe
their entire championship roster.
Well, Brody Lee has been very good. I have to give him that. What's up, Chuck?
It doesn't change my comment.
New Daddy Chuck's down here. What's up, brother?
Well, congratulations on that.
Congratulations, brother. My co-host for Birds of a Feather.
That you'll see on Thursday. Bang, bang.
That we will see on Thursday on this show's regularly scheduled night to open the NFL season. So for all you football fans out there, join us Thursday night. For you Eagles fans too, it's our Eagles season preview show for Birds of a Feather. Also with that, we're gonna kind of, I guess, do a live reaction to the first quarter of the first NFL game. So that'll be fun.
Which is who? Who's in that first NFL game?
Oh, now you're gonna bust my balls. It's Kansas City, and I can't remember who else off the top of my head.
Oh yeah,
well, Andy, you don't know who they are, so why does it matter?
You conveniently forget. I do too. I live in the damn city.
We don't give a shit about them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you live in that town where they root for a really shitty Dallas team.
Yeah. No. Houston. He's a Texan.
Oh, Houston. Oh, okay. Well, still, what's the difference? Say Houston's a shitty team. So,
swear to God, though, like as much as Eagles fans, we hate Dallas. Houston fans hate Dallas just as much.
Oh, I believe it.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
They're the stepchildren. Oh, here we go. I'm frozen again.
Well, what's even worse?
Oh, no, there it is.
Yeah.
Clip it. Somebody clip it. God bless, please.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Yes, now you're back.
All right. I was saying they're the freaking stepchildren. Anyway, let's get back to wrestling, guys. Is there anybody? I am going to say it, guys. I am not impressed. I don't care what PWI says. I don't care what anybody says. I am not impressed with Dean Ambrose. And no, I'm not accidentally saying Dean Ambrose. It's Dean Ambrose 2.0 right now in AEW. I'm not impressed. I wasn't impressed with it in WWE. It's gone back to being the same. It's the same moveset. It's the same. The only thing we don't get is the rope flip. That's it. That we used to get over under 3.5 rope flips per match. I soured on him in WWE. I liked him going to AEW. I liked the start, but it is very quickly to me regressed back to Dean Ambrose. Not a fan of it. We'll see how it goes. I think they made the wrong decision. You spent a year and a half building up MJF. And then this was the decision that was made. I thought it was terrible. I guess they're going to continue the program with the low blow, and he still used the paradigm shift. We're going to get into it in a couple minutes. That's true. He doesn't have the gas mask anymore.
God,
right? However, Ryan, at this current state of the world, maybe the mask would be a benefit for him, Ryan. Maybe he needs to have the gas mask.
Would have done better than that stupid eye patch.
I'm just saying. Yeah, the eye patch. Yeah, for the injured eye.
That never actually was injured.
Speaking of eye patches, Raw Underground. This is totally unrelated, but my favorite part of Raw Underground was Aleister Black starting still with the eye patch over, and then it just happens to fall off his head. Now all of a sudden his eye's fine. Love that.
Well, you talk about someone who suffered the moment he left NXT. Good God Almighty!
Yeah.
This for Aleister could be good.
Yeah, I'm with you, Andy. I think a heel run needs to happen. I was optimistic about it until we hit the Raw Underground, and then Babatunde or Baba KO, whatever the fuck they're calling him this week. Suddenly, we're gonna have them job out in the Raw Underground.
Oh my God.
Well, at least at the end of the day, at the end of the day, at least none of us were Buddy Murphy this week.
Is he frozen?
No, are you freezing again?
That wasn't me. I think it was you.
No, I was good.
Well, we're having a big old good night. Yeah, damn it, Glacier.
But at least none of us were Buddy Murphy.
That was great. I love that.
Fantastic. And did you see Angie's like, no, no, Ray, I don't want to do it. And Ray's like, damn it, Angie, hit him.
I love that. That was great.
But the daughter's sitting there going, all right, swinging a pitch.
Yeah.
She was keying off on him.
I felt like it was a weird Raw, guys. I don't know.
It was rinse and repeat.
We got the Cedric Alexander heel turn that we expected. Fine. Why did we need to see a match later? And how ironic is it, guys, that he joins I almost call them the Beatdown Clan because that was what they were in Impact. It's the same fucking group. The Hurt Business.
Wait, was Shelton in that?
No, but it was MVP and Bobby Lashley who were.
I knew that. I didn't realize Shelton was in it.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
I think
Samoa Joe was in that, I believe, at one point.
Yeah, I think he
what
was.
TNA faction wasn't Samoa Joe in? Maybe the beautiful people.
That's actually very true. Well, he wasn't in Aces and Eights, but he was in the main event Mafia, though. But
the greatest faction, by the way, in TNA history, Impact history, Aces and Eights was the greatest storyline they've ever done.
Oh, but then Aces and Eights and then bringing back the main event Mafia for it was fantastic.
Yeah, I have to give a lot of credit to that. But I don't even remember where I was. But getting back to how many times, guys, do we have to see, or how convenient is it that Cedric Alexander happens to have tights within an hour that match the Beatdown Clan or the Hurt Business?
Well, all right, so hold on. I'll play into this for a moment. I'm going to get yelled at, but I'm going to play into this for a moment.
Are you not over this for the 18th week in a row?
No.
Maybe
what I'm saying is, your question was, how did he have tights within an hour? Well, it's real simple, Chrome. They have people on staff to make those. If they're not doing anything else, they can just make it. There's going to be some. Shut up, Ryan. There's going to be, but let's be real. There's going to be somebody in this chat that's going to say that Sasha Banks' husband cranked it out for him.
I mean, hey, listen, screw COVID. Let's just have all these extra people lying around to make, just in case Cedric Alexander decides tonight he's going to join the Hurt Business. Let's have somebody there to make his tights real quick.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It makes total sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. It's not like the early days of TNA when WWE wrestlers would show up in their WWE gear, and you'd be like, oh, hey, it's Road Dogg wearing his Road Dogg stuff, but he can't call him Road Dogg. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, it's absolutely absurd. But what other loose ends? Oh, so
I like Anthony's comment.
What was that comment there?
He had tights in an hour.
He went to Walmart. That's true. That's true. But listen, though, Andy, at this period of time, if you've ever gone to Walmart and tried to get out of there in an hour, even if you go to pick up one thing, the goddamn lines are so long it's impossible to get out of there.
So first of all,
maybe they sent a stooge to do it.
First of all, before the hurricane came through my area, it took me 20 minutes to go through checkout. But normally I can get in and out of a Walmart pretty quickly. So it happens when you used to work there. You know what to do.
Gotcha. Well, it's Houston, so whatever.
And congrats on getting the hell out of Walmart employment.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Now I sell cars.
Proud of that.
I don't know what's better.
I'm pretty sure that he made a pretty great face there that we could probably pull later and make another meme out of. So.
The guy's been frozen 3 times tonight.
And Andy, I did appreciate you showing your Flyers pride there about 5 seconds ago. Very much appreciated that.
I didn't even know I had that.
But yeah, I can't even tell if he's talking. I lost him.
Oh my god, this
is insane.
Dude, your Wi-Fi, dude. If a tech was in your house right now, I swear to God, you should just choke slam him right now for just how terrible the Wi-Fi is going in and out.
And I've never had I've never.
Well,
yep, now he's gone. There we go.
Okay. So, Maddie.
Sure. Yes, Ritz.
Let's see. Did you catch the Retribution bit?
Yes.
What do you think?
We're back.
Oh, okay. He's back. We were talking about Retribution.
What'd you say?
And he just asked me about Retribution.
Okay, go ahead.
This faction that they have right now, promos and such like that, I'm fine with it. What they're doing is, in a way, it's kind of like the Nexus. The only difference is you just don't know who the hell they are. They're taking over the show. They're beating people down. They're doing all this crazy stuff. They're getting into the production truck. They're going actually a step further than the Nexus. The Nexus destroyed everything in the arena, but these guys are going backstage into the production truck and everything like that. More around the NWO-ish kind of aces and eights because you don't really know who they are, sort of feel, in that regard.
That's it. That's exactly what I feel. I get aces and eights vibes. I like it. I had moments in the beginning. We talked about it on this show, guys. I thought the initial attack was kind of hokey. The yelling and it was kind of goofy to me, but since then it's gotten much better. I'm pretty sure at this point Retribution is fucking with my Wi-Fi, which is probably not far from the truth. So I better be careful what I say.
That's what it is.
That's what it is, people. Chrome knows who Retribution is. He knows every single member, so they're fucking with his Wi-Fi so he doesn't reveal the list.
So I may have to be careful or I may get jumped from behind out of this door back
here. My God, if somebody popped out the door and started beating up Chrome. Obviously, we're calling 911, but it's not.
We're gonna wait a minute because it's riveting television first. But listen,
Oh! He was about to say who it was.
This is it. They're coming at me, guys. Listen, I liked it. I liked it this week. All we got, yes, there it is. I liked this week that all we got was a simple promo, but I thought Tunnel's Wi-Fi. Seriously, Damien, I am amazed at this point.
That one wins right now. That's the best one so far in the comments.
That's pretty good. But I was a big fan. It's clearly obvious to me that Dominik Dijakovic is one of them. I am 100% sure, boys, that at least.
Oh my God! See, he revealed a member, and there you go. That's what happens. Your fucking Wi-Fi gone. This is what happens. Kayfabe still exists. It's still Retribution. Damn it! No one must know.
I am 100% sure, by the way, that at least one of them, probably two of them, are part of the roster cuts that we saw as well. I felt like the first person talking was pretty clear about that. Would anybody else get that kind of a vibe? To me, I have Dijakovic, Mia Yim.
Yep.
If I was to guess, I would say possibly Michael Bennett. Not Michael Kanellis. Forget that stupid shit. Michael Bennett might be one. I would love to say Rusev, but I don't think that's possible. But man, he would have been great.
I don't think Rusev. I don't think Michael Bennett either. Because I thought he just tweeted out the other day, support AEW or something like that.
I don't know. I didn't see that. Could be a swerve, though.
It could be. It very well could be. Speaking of that train wreck of a company.
Yeah. Not. Yeah, I guess we should hop into.
Yeah, that was
again.
Yeah, that was
unbelievable.
I'm just watching this happen, and this is just CM Punk, the leader of Retribution.
Yeah.
Would that?
Oh my God, that would be the best.
I think we might actually see a mark out moment from Chrome there, being the big CM Punk guy.
Yeah, it's weird. I didn't love Punk.
No, back up. Bennett's in NWA. He's fighting Aldis.
That doesn't mean anything.
NWA
just sent somebody. What? So is what's his name? Wade Barrett is still technically an NWA. Well, he was literally up and being on last week was still a part of the NWA.
Yeah, those are pre-recorded anyway, so they may just still.
He went on a tear 3 days ago. Support Ring of Honor, NWA, NJPW, AEW, Impact Wrestling, New Wrestling. Beyond all these different independent promotions. He just tagged them. What the hell is that noise?
Not me. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Told you, man. Retribution. They just pulled up.
What the hell is going on here? And Prism says, Ritz without butter seems like pizza without cheese. Matt Ritz Frozone.
Well, Chrome just froze. Oh, my God. Oh
Damn
my
it,
God,
get
that's
that one
even better. That one's even better.
That was fun. You know what's funny? I actually like that one. No.
I forgot about that one. I don't know how. Oh my God.
Some things we can't unsee, fellas.
Yeah, that's true. We give Brodo way too much time.
He froze again.
I'm back.
Damn Retribution.
Anthony said Barrett is coming back to WWE. Yeah, we understand that now, but he was still with NWA at the time when he started talking to WWE. I'd have to read up on it a little more. But I do believe that NWA may have allowed him to out of his contract or whatever he had agreement with them.
Right.
Okay then.
I can't hear anybody.
Whoa. All right. So and Anthony's saying Andy is getting ready for his date. I guess you're dating Karrion Kross now, so congratulations.
What date?
You know, the ones that we were seeing. You were with Karrion Kross there very intimately. And, you know, you were with Butters, you know.
Mm-hmm. So
You're just hoping.
As we try to get Chrome back from whatever fucked up Walmart McDonald's he's sitting in.
And now you're freezing up.
How am I?
Yeah, you're freezing up, at least on my end. I don't know. Maybe it's on my end. I don't know. Am I freezing up on you?
No, I'm going to blame you, though, just because I can.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's get back to pro wrestling, right? AEW.
Well, we still can.
AEW had All Out this past Saturday night, and the biggest thing to come out of All Out was not necessarily the Mimosa Mayhem match. It was not necessarily the fact that Jon Moxley retained the title. It's completely and utterly the fact that during the Sammy Guevara Matt Hardy street fight match, that Matt Hardy took an ugly spot, misses the table, has a serious, legitimate concussion, and continues wrestling the match. AEW keeps the match going when it's very clear that Matt Hardy is not even in the same time zone as when this match is happening. Okay? So, Matty, I know Chrome wants to bring this up. What are your thoughts on the fact that AEW allowed this to continue, knowing what we know about concussions, concussion protocol, and different things of that nature?
You know, here's the thing. We look back, and this is something that I feel is, I feel like this is something that they should have really they should have done something about this. They should not have, I feel like they shouldn't have continued the match. And the reason why I feel like they shouldn't have is because if it's a very serious concussion and you can clearly tell physically that the wrestler that is in the ring, he is not there. You don't know where he is. You know, it's dangerous for not just that person who is concussed, but that's also dangerous for the wrestler that he is wrestling. Because what if there's a spot that he is supposed to be the main guy delivering the move and he can't do it properly? You know, because his faculties are not all there. So the big problem is that we know the seriousness of concussions now. Back in the day, we didn't. You know, back in the days when, you know, like we were talking about with SummerSlam, when I had that on my main event, Austin got concussed very early in his match with Undertaker. They didn't know that shit back then, so they continued the match. Guarantee you, if they had known Austin was concussed now, they probably would have played it much more carefully than they would by today's standards than they would have back then. Back then, it was just, oh, he got his bell rung, that's it. You know, and I don't. If it's a serious concussion, you should not continue the match. You know, and it's just only because we know how serious they are. We know how dangerous that could be. We know how this could wind up hurting not just him even more, but it could hurt Sammy. Because if they're still trying to do spots, he may be able not to do them effectively, and therefore Sammy could get hurt too. So it's like it's dangerous continuing a match after that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you saw the spot. I don't know if you guys watched the pay-per-view. I watched the whole pay-per-view. but you had to have seen the clip at this point. He looked dead.
Yeah.
Like, he looked dead for about 45 seconds to a minute there. There was nobody home. And that is one of the scariest and most dangerous falls I've ever seen. And he looked, the way his head cracked the ground, he was dead.
What's up, Jimmy?
And what's up, Jimmy? Make sure you guys check out Jimmy's show, On the Road to Victory. It's coming at you Friday night. Also doing an Eagles season preview show. So check him out. We love Jimmy. He does a great job here with us at A2D Radio. That shit was scary, guys. And the superstar is going to say, I can go on. They don't have any idea what's going on. Austin has talked about it. We talked about it on this show, right? We just had a SummerSlam show, right? And we talked about at the Highway to Hell. Austin got concussed in that match and didn't even remember half the match.
Nope.
Talk about The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. Guy doesn't remember a whole 24 hours of a freaking day.
He didn't even remember his name.
But you could see him get up and continue a match. Hardy, you couldn't even see him move. Shout out to Matt Milcarrick down there, Ultimate Wrestling Fanatic. Shout out to our boys out there. They're a great group of guys, great wrestling group that you could join on Facebook that we partner with. Matt runs the group, one of the guys who runs the group. Says Aubrey should not have thrown the X up that many times before Doc Sampson came down.
Yeah, he should have came out. He should have came out immediately the moment he saw the X. Yeah.
My opinion, when you're doing a match that's not in the ring, behind the scenes, street fight kind of thing, behind the camera, you should have medical staff standing by.
Absolutely.
When you take them out of the safety of the ring, that medical staff should be standing by. Not obviously don't have them on camera, right? But have them close enough to where if shit hits the fan like it did Saturday night, you're there immediately. It's not somebody go find the doc. The doc's here. You
cannot allow that decision to be in the talent's hands, guys. Simple as that. As soon as something like that happens, that decision is out of their hands. They have no say in the game. They're going to want to continue to push on. That was dangerous. That was scary. He could have had a head injury. He could have had a brain bleed. That it could be internal, and you don't see then. Now, again, they do have medical staff on, and there are certain things when you check out the pupils that they're dilated. If one's blown and one isn't, you could tell if there's certain head injuries, but you still can't totally count on that. When he got up, the guy literally couldn't get his feet under him.
Yeah.
It was unacceptable. Unacceptable.
They should have brought the medical staff out. They should have put him on the stretcher. Honest to God, they should have put him on the stretcher.
The broadcast thought it was over. They were shocked that they allowed him on, which was an even worse look. Doc Sampson's got to go. Sorry, bud. Time to go. Totally. To me, this shit the bed. And I'm not putting it on par by any means with the Owen Hart incident. But what that has taught us is the talent goes over anything else on the program going on. And that's about as close as it gets to a comparison. That's a whole other level. But what I've now done is I've looked at things differently in that the talent, the decision comes out of their hand. The responsible decision has to be however long we need to shut this down, get this person taken care of, and then decide how we're going to proceed with the broadcast. You do that. You do not let that match go on. Unacceptable. I thought it was a real bad look for them.
And this might be a hot take, but I want to see your guys' thoughts. Tony Khan Ted's saying Tony Khan was saying he didn't have a concussion. You can't tell that quick. His wife is tweeting he's in the hospital with a concussion. Rebby's wife. Rebby was pissed.
Yeah. Listen, Ted, I'll tell you right now. I've had a concussion. Okay? You take a blow to the head, you're out. You ain't coming back like that. The NFL has an NFL concussion protocol. You don't see guys come back 2 minutes later with fucking helmets on. And it's almost impossible for them to pass. So to me, what that tells me, there's no way that guy doesn't have a concussion when his head bounces off a concrete floor from a fucking scaffold. It's no way. I'm going to trust his wife's word, who was at the hospital with him. And I can tell you right now, if their concussion protocol says we can clear him in a minute and a half, then shame on them. They need to figure out their concussion protocol. And this isn't me coming down on AEW. This is me coming down on the fucking ref or the doctor who allowed that to go on.
So,
and Tony Khan for making excuses on it.
And then look at Matt's comment here. He's saying that they are conditioned to finish the match no matter what. The decision definitely has to be taken out of their hands. And also at the same time too, not only it should have also had come to this too. It should have been to the point where if it got to where the doc is not coming out, Aubrey's thrown up the X a million times and his dumb ass is still not there, then she should have just basically gone over to Sammy. I'm like, Sammy, this match is fucking over. Like, I don't give a shit what we're doing. This match is done. I don't care. I'm stopping the match now. It gets to that point where you have no choice. You have no choice but to go home now, because that could lead to something even worse.
You don't even go home. You call it. It's done. It's over.
Yeah.
He took a fall. He missed the table.
Yeah.
Guys, like, he misses. None of him hits the table.
His ass hit the table. That was about it.
But none of the parts that matter hit the table. Right?
It's a fair point. I agree with you. I think it's a
so
disgrace.
Aubrey, in her infinite wisdom, I don't know if it's direction from Gorilla or what, is letting this match continue. The first person I blame is the doc, obviously, for not being there. Not being there, making an assessment on the spot. The second person I blame is Aubrey.
I don't blame Aubrey.
I don't blame her. I think she should have been I think she should have done something to, like, just ring the bell, get it over with, just end it now.
I can't blame Aubrey. It all falls on the medical staff. Aubrey clearly knew there was an issue and was the one to stop it to begin with and call for medical. So she knew well enough. If she's directed, Matt's absolutely right.
So I didn't know that. The bit that I saw did not have that part in there.
Yeah, it's extended. Aubrey tried to. If you look back, she did stop Sammy, which she did. She pulled Sammy away and was like, he's really fucked up right now. She separated him. She put herself in between. The match stopped. And then the doctor was the one who allowed it to restart.
Okay,
he's absolutely right.
The bit that I saw, I didn't watch it live. I watched it in bits and pieces. What I could find did not have that part there.
And I can tell you honestly, Eddie, for anybody who didn't see it, my interpretation watching it, Aubrey didn't look like the most comfortable finishing out whatever was to finish out. Now, they didn't do much after the fact, but anything could have created an issue here.
Yeah.
He needed medical attention immediately that needed to stop, and it was unsafe. Bottom line, AEW needs to own it and say we made a mistake. Not make excuses. Not say, oh, the doctor cleared. Well, the doctor fucked up then. And listen, even great doctors sometimes miss something. It's okay. But own it. Don't make excuses for it. That's my issue with it. It's not AEW. It's the medical staff, and then it's Tony Khan backing up the bullshit that's coming from that. Yes, hashtag don't blame Aubrey. I thought Aubrey was spot on in handling this situation. She immediately reacted to it, immediately stepped in between the talent. She did everything the right way. If she's directed to keep going, then it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean,
Ted says Mike Chioda would have ended that shit. I've seen Mike Chioda make a lot of real questionable decisions over the years, and I love Chioda. Not to sound like Cornette, but a bunch of people playing wrestler and Booker being Rick doesn't mean you can run a multi-million-dollar company. Tony Khan's over his head. I agree. However, he does have people like Cody with him, and that to me is great. I think Cody, I'll be honest, I think Cody needed to be the one to step out here. He needs to be the face of the company. Tony Khan needs to take a step out, because I don't like what I'm seeing from Tony Khan at this point. I think I know he's got a ton of money, but I think he's puffing his chest out way farther than he has the right to be doing right now. And I think he's
here's the
overstepping.
Here's the problem is, here's the thing about Tony Khan is, like, he's a big time fan. Well, there's a term called money mark, and there's a reason why there's a term called that, and he's proving that he's turning into one real quick.
I think Cody would have handled that situation 1,000 times better. I think Cody is the ultimate face of that company, and I think that he needs to continue to be. I think he needs to be the one who gets out in the forefront and addresses these issues. And to me, it just showed me exactly what Maddie said. Tony Khan can't put his fandom to the side and his fanboy and money to the side to speak as an owner. And I think that's the problem. I mean, it's a real shame. As for the rest of the card, it had highlights and it had extreme lowlights for me. I have actually, as critical as I could be of AEW, I have enjoyed almost all of their pay-per-views. This, to me, was the worst one. Let me see. I mean, I thought the Battle Royal was long. It wasn't great. And I'm not even talking about the Matt Sydal appearance and the botch. I give Matt a pass. He's such a professional. He's done that move a billion times. Yeah, I'm not going to give him a hard time for that.
He goes on Twitter afterwards commenting about how he slipped and it happens.
Yeah, I'm sure it happens. It's not a big deal. It doesn't define him.
Anthony, it's not one mistake. It's not just one mistake, man. We're talking about a mistake that could have repercussions.
Well, it's serious enough repercussions to where Matt could die.
Right.
First of all, I love Anthony. I appreciate you chiming in, Anthony. But Anthony is Anthony's the anti-WWE. So it doesn't matter what you say. If you tell him that Vince McMahon said the sky is blue, he's going to say, no, Tony Khan says it's fucking purple, just to be anti-WWE. I am not downing AEW in this. I'm telling you right now, watch Tony Khan on Twitter and how fucking stupid he sounds half the time. That's the issue. He's like, he has times where he's like the Donald Trump of wrestling on Twitter. He can't help but to pull his phone out and start tweeting. And he needs to stop that shit. That's the problem. He has good guys around him. Matt says it here. He surrounds himself with a lot of guys who know what they're doing behind the scenes. Maybe he needs to learn more on them. Absolutely, Matt. I agree. Yeah. He has other people more suited to address these situations. I stand by my statement. He has times where he's like the Donald Trump of professional wrestling, that he can't stay off of Twitter and run in his mouth. That's not what you need to be doing. It's just the bottom line. You're an owner now. You're not a fan anymore.
Let's call it what it is. You don't see Vince getting on every day.
Well, I'm not even talking about Vince. You don't have Billy Corgan on there doing his shit. You don't have any of them. The Impact owners and all. You don't have Anthem Sports having their reps on there running their mouths. It's just it's irresponsible. Could have killed Hardy. That's like saying the guy who rigged up Owen Hart makes mistakes. Absolutely right. Absolutely
and I think Frank hits the nail on the head, right? The Matt Hardy match kills the rest of the mood for the show.
Well,
I think it overshadows. Yeah.
No, they do make mistakes.
Stop it, Anthony. Anthony, we hammer Vince on this show all the time, and on in this very ring.
To tell you that it's some of the dumbest bullshit that I'm watching right now as far as content goes. But when we're talking about someone having a concussion, it's a concussion, Anthony. This guy could have died, man.
Yeah, this is somebody who has no idea what they're talking about. They're going to be, and I love Anthony. Anthony comments on a lot of our shows, but he goes through these modes where he's just going to start trolling because he hates Vince McMahon, and I've seen him do it with some of the sports stuff too. And that's kind of the point we're at. So I'm at this point, we've said our piece with that. I'm done with that. I'm moving on with the card. It's absolutely ridiculous, that stance. I myself on this show have given a lot more props as of late to AEW, to the point where I've even said they're a better program at this point on a week-to-week basis than WWE. But the bottom line is, when you almost have one of your superstars take a fall that could have fucking killed them, and you allow them to continue, you're done, man. You're done. That's it. There's no Vince McMahon in this equation. It's Tony Khan backing up a doctor who messed up.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, man, we made a mistake, we're going to double check our protocols and make sure we get it right next time.
I mean, hell, Vince came out after Owen died and he said this was a tragic accident. He knew he fucked up. He knew he royally fucked up in that situation. He owned up to that. Yeah, it's not like he dodged it and said, oh, well, the rigging crew said that they were the best rigging crew in the world. No, he took that and he immediately said, this was my fault. I fucked up.
So Matt, go back to Matt's last comment. He says All Out was decent. We're gonna move on from that now, guys.
Sure.
We only have about 5 minutes left, so I want to make sure we get a little bit, like 5 to 10 minutes left. I want to get a little All Out in. He says All Out was decent, but I would say it was the worst pay-per-view they put out so far. I agree. It had its highlights. I liked the main event here. All right. FTR versus Page and Omega. I was disappointed with this. I'm not saying it was a bad match.
Were you disappointed in the fact that they won?
No, they made a great booking decision. FTR should have won this match. Absolutely.
So where are you disappointed at, though?
The disappointment is I felt like it was something we could have just watched for free on Dynamite. It was a very slow match. And I know what they're trying to do. They were trying to sell the knee on Omega, so it kind of slowed down the pace of the match. And I understand that's kind of like an FTR thing. I just expected the dynamic. Yes, Ted, we were. We're going to talk
incredibly.
About that. I just felt like and Matt says the tag title match went way too long. Like I actually look at the Bucks and Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. I thought that match was way more entertaining. I just felt like this was such a slow, really long match. But it was good. It just wasn't great. It wasn't even the best tag match on the card. So I was a little disappointed. But
side note, real quick.
Yeah.
The Roderick Strong Killian Dane match just happened, right? And Roderick Strong goes over. Yeah. Him and Bobby Fish start beating down Killian Dane. Yeah, and Drake Maverick comes out to make the save?
Well, they both got attacked before a couple weeks ago by what's his name? No, El Fantasma, whatever his name is.
Okay.
By that group, and I think that I'm pretty sure Drake Maverick a few weeks ago came out to help him out. So maybe it's like a payback type of deal.
Keep going. Sorry.
We'll see how it goes.
It caught me off guard.
Anyway, yeah, it was just a weird match. I don't know. It didn't live up to my expectations. And FTR to me is top 3 tag team in the world. You know I love them. Matt says if they wanted to take along to tell the story, they could have ended it with Kenny doing the full turn on Page. Agree, Matt. That would have been a better payoff. I thought the ending was weird. And then for as much as Omega sold the injury, as soon as the match was done, he got up and walked out pretty fine all the way to a limo.
Yeah. I would almost have rather had seen Kenny just kind of walk out on the match and have that be the heel turn.
Hey,
Riley Rawson.
What's going on? Welcome to the party.
What's up, Riley? I mean, this is Eagles country, buddy. Not loving the helmet, but hey, brother, we always welcome you here.
But stick around. We enjoy you staying.
Yes, please do, buddy. We enjoy all of our agreements and disagreements. That's why it's agree to disagree. Matt Milcarrick says good, but should have been 10 minutes shorter. I agree with that. It would have been a lot better.
The match or the whole pay-per-view?
The match.
Okay.
Would have been much better if they cut it shorter.
So do you think when Cody comes back, they're gonna really go through with this whole New Age 4 Horsemen thing?
I hope so. I'm in. I'm all in on that. I love that.
Was that supposed to be a pun?
No. But I guess it worked out that way.
What'd you guys think of Mimosa Mayhem? I see Anthony wanting to know that wanting to say that Jericho and Orange Cassidy match was funny.
I thought it was hokey. I mean, it was what it was.
I mean, I expected that kind of a match. When they said it was going to be a Mimosa Mayhem match, I'm like, okay, we're going to get a lot of goofy spots in this, and we're going to have Jericho and Cassidy doing, funny things here and there, basically. That's just kind of, that was basically what I was expecting.
It didn't keep my attention. I mean, it had its entertaining spots. I found it funny, though, Conrad Thompson tweeting out, so this is really a thing.
Yeah, I saw that. And it took me a minute to figure out that match was what was on when he did that. I was like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, I didn't love it. I thought one of the standout matches was Hikaru Shida versus Thunder Rosa. Yes. NWA, by the way, we were talking about that. I thought that match was fantastic. Mm-hmm. It was a real standout on this card. I already mentioned Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy versus the Bucks. I thought was really, really good. Battle Royal, nah. But the main event, I love MJF.
The wrong person won.
They made a lot. They have done so much to build up MJF, and I have an issue. First of all, lost me for a
Go on.
Yeah. I think you can hear me. There we go. I'm back. I think the Murder Hawk sucks, by the way, and I kind of knew once he won that we were probably getting Dean Ambrose winning that match. And again, I'm saying that intentionally, not calling him John Moxley because he's Dean Ambrose 2.0 right now. Things I could have did without, guys. I could have done without the blood licking and biting on the blood wound.
Yeah, ew.
I don't mind blood. I don't need you to put your mouth all over it and show us that it's all in your mouth and on your tongue. Didn't need that. Could have did without spitting. Could have did without that spot. I know maybe I'm being too sensitive, guys, but I just think in a COVID world right now, we kind of don't need that stuff right now. Particularly when we heard a lot of shit with WWE having similar things going on in the very beginning of COVID, and a lot of people gave them trouble for that. I think it's only fair to point it out when other companies do it as well. We did too. We pointed out when WWE did it. I just don't feel like it didn't need that.
No, yes, Ted, they can't.
No, they can't. They can't have a pay-per-view without blood. And again, they made the wrong decision. I don't understand building MJF up that long when he is very much so the best young talent in the world today for that. Moxley's already the longest reigning AEW champion. So he's already got that under his belt.
Doesn't take much. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, it's almost 200 days.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't All Out is it All Out or is it All In? That's supposed to be their WrestleMania.
So All In was the non AEW pay-per-view that they first did to prove the concept.
Right.
Excuse me. All Out is supposed to be their WrestleMania, yes.
So then so to that sentence, why the hell don't you put over the young kid at your show of shows? How does it make sense to put it over somewhere else? That's like saying, you know what? I'm not gonna have Ricochet win the title at WrestleMania. He's gonna win it at Backlash next week.
I don't have an answer for you, Andy. I didn't get the booking decision either.
I don't know either. I mean, I guess they want to do an Extreme Rules match and then have MJF win it that way. That's the only thing I can think of as to why they would do this, because that way they can say, "Oh, MJF beat Moxley, quote unquote, at his own game and won the world title." It's a stupid decision if that's where they're going with this, but I have a weird feeling that that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I guess so. We're back to the drawing board. So instead, guys. We're going to get the Murder Hawk versus Dean Ambrose. Who's excited for that? When he's going to end the Murder Hawk's mouthpiece is a completely oblivious Jake Roberts at this point. I love Jake. I think they need to take Jake off of TV.
He never should have been there to begin with.
I thought his promos that were recorded kind of worked in the beginning. But man, he is rough live, and I listen. He's old. I don't expect him to be the same. Tully Blanchard used to cut amazing promos back in the day, and even he's a little bit rough now. They're older, and I get that. We see what Flair does. That being said, I mean Taz ran circles around him. And speaking of Taz, since we're up against it, we have about 6 minutes left. I have to discuss Jim Ross.
That's par for the course, okay.
There's a controversial
comfy
call.
People.
No, listen, there's a controversial call, and I want to discuss it because I think that people assume that because we hold him accountable for it, that people are trying to run him off. I'm only trying to run him off before that comment because he fucking sucks. So I want to get that clear first.
I would have never guessed.
the comment that he made, it was in regards to what's her name, Anna Jay.
The
Anna
chick in
Jay.
the Dark Order.
Anna Jay. It was, and my feeling watching it instantly was this dude sounds like a real old creeper creeping on a young girl. Basically, there it said something, and he said something like, "What's she doing with her outfit?" Something about a wardrobe malfunction.
He was hoping for a wardrobe malfunction.
It was creepy. I'm not saying because of that he should lose his job. There's a lot of other reasons I think he should lose his job, but I didn't like. This is now. He just made comments the other week, guys, on Dynamite, where he made, and I don't like to use the word, but I'm gonna use it just to explain. He said he made a retard joke.
Yeah.
Using words, which doesn't work nowadays. It's a different world. It's not It's not a cancel culture thing, guys. It's the idea of, oh my God, these people, man, in the Attitude Era, it was this and this. Well, the world was different then. And things that I thought was awesome when I was 14, I'm 35 years old, doesn't stand the test of time and doesn't work.
Well, not even that.
I mean, you couldn't even have Jerry saying the shit he was saying back then.
No, and if he said it now, I'd be calling for his head too. If any of them were.
That's one of those things to where, like, now when we watch it, you're like, that was wrong. And you're immediately uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? And when that, like, even for us diehard fans that we grew up in the not grew up in the business, but we grew up watching the Attitude Era and we heard all the cringy stuff. And that's still some of our favorite stuff to go back and watch just because of the...
Dude, it doesn't even stand the test of time.
It doesn't, but that's the problem. Like, it's some of our stuff to go. It used to be some of our favorite stuff to go back and watch because the product was so bad at one point in time. You're like, let's go back to the Attitude Era. But then you start watching the Attitude Era, and you're like, why did we like this?
I mean, it goes back to the saying of we hold up an era and we call it the greatest era of all time. And WWE's done a great job of also blowing themselves in this era because that's the one thing that they use to beat WCW. But at the end of the day, you have to also take the good with the bad. And you have to realize not everything they did was a home run back then. There's a lot of things that you look back on, it's like, that fell absolutely Victoria. Flat.
She lost a little credibility in my book.
Well, she gets it back because she popped in to say hi and give support.
Right. That's why she didn't go all the way down. She went a little. Like one rung on the ladder.
Yeah. But, I mean, like I was saying, not everything was a home run back then. And, we hold up an era as like it was a gold standard. Everything. It's like, not really. Because you had a miscarriage on there. You had someone giving birth to a hand. You had all kinds of weird shit going on at that time. That really doesn't. You look back and you're like, why the fuck they do that?
Yeah, it was really bad. Ted says Jim Ross doesn't have it anymore. He's been done. He's just collecting a check. Tony Khan was speaking on everyone who got called out during speaking out. Khan said nothing about Sockhead Excalibur get in trouble for that shitty racist promo. Listen, AEW to me would be better off with running Shivani and Taz out there. I think that would be an excellent.
God, that'd be so good.
Be an excellent commentary group. Giving birth
to a hand. 20 years ago. It was 20 years ago.
I'll give her props for pulling it out, though, bro.
She listened to Matt.
But she made a great response back. I'm okay with that.
Prison brought up the worst one, by the way.
I got to give her a hard time. Oh, God.
Necrophilia with Katie Vick. I mean, it was brutal.
The odds of, I got to give Victoria a hard time because the odds of me ever doing a show with Victoria are slim to none, right? So this is my interaction with her.
That's true. But you know what? I mean, we talked about it. Maddie, you remember I talked about this weeks ago. Andy, I even think I sent you the clip of Jim Ross. It had to be months ago. And it was during a Chrissy Statlander match where Tony Excalibur, that hand is going to come very absolutely, Matt. I love it.
We saw them all grown up on an episode of Raw.
But it was Statlander versus I don't remember who. And somebody talked about Excalibur said, she pie faced her because they were kind of doing like this like slap thing and somebody pie faced them. And this is This is a summation of what JR's commentary is like. Pie. Why don't they call it cake? Why don't they call it a cake face? I love cake. I'd love to eat some cake right now. That was the fucking commentary he had today. I'm pretty sure I did. If I didn't, I have it. I'll send it to you. That's what we get from JR now. Listen, Tony or JR is there to collect a paycheck, just as Ted said. He's collecting a paycheck. He's not good. He doesn't know the majority of the talent. And honestly, in my eyes, guys, that talent has worked hard to get an opportunity in AEW. The fact that you don't have enough respect to learn their name right, that's an insult to them. I don't care what a legend you are. You don't get a pass for that. You need to know the fucking talent. They didn't even know who any of the MMA fighters were in the ring.
Yeah, and especially if you, oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm done.
That's a great comment. Oh my god, that one's the best one. But I will say this right now. When you're supposed to be the head commentator, which he's supposed to be, that's unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. And I love JR from back in the day, but for what he's done now, he's not doing his reputation any favors. He's killing it. He's killing all of his goodwill that he ever built up in WWE and in WCW beforehand. It's just ridiculous.
For me, his legacy's taking a hit. I agree. Guys, this was a great show. We saw a lot of really new names in here. I see comments dropping in. I apologize, guys, if we didn't get to all your comments. Chris Tater-Gorell is dropping in comments. Deshaun Herndon. We appreciate you guys. So what I'm going to ask for you guys to do is come back and check us out next week. Now, this is a unique night for us. Typically, this show, Lazy Booking, is Thursday nights. We have a lot of fun on the show. Hey, last week we had an interview live with Bushwhacker Luke. You can go back and check out our archives on A2D Radio. You can check out our interviews with Ken Shamrock, Leo Rush, Nikita Koloff, Sid Vicious, Tito Santana, Matt Tremont, who, by the way, I have to give a shout out to Matt, who's the king of the deathmatch, one of the real well-known U.S. indie wrestlers, who just announced that he will be retiring from in-ring, I believe at the end of October. So I want to say congratulations to him. I'd actually like to maybe have him back on to just kind of talk about his retirement, whether it's before or after. But Matt's going to be retired, so I want to say congratulations to him from all of us here at A2D. But we had him on. I mean, we've had a laundry list of guests on this show, and more to come. But also check out Andy up here, Ritz here. He has his show on Saturday nights, guys. So you can join A2D Radio. We give you a double dose of wrestling, typically Thursdays, typically on Saturdays. Again, this week, with this being the NFL opening week, I do co-host another show, an Eagles-based show. We swapped the shows so we can be there for opening night. So Birds of a Feather this week will be on A2D Radio on Thursday night before Maddie's other show, the Hockey Happy Hour, to where they'll be talking about, I'm sure, Flyers, wrapping up the Flyer season and what's ahead.
We'll be talking about some stuff.
Yeah. Yes, Ted, we did have Leo Rush on. And we had a three-part. The episodes are on A2D Radio. I'm going to go through all the places you can find things, guys. And then we had a 3-part interview series, and people said to me, I would have never thought you could have 3 hours of interviews, which we did. 3 one-hour episodes with Bill Alfonso, who had 40 years in the business and gave us some of the best stories you'll hear about professional wrestling. So check all that out as well, the Fonzie. Stay tuned here on A2D Radio in about a half an hour, 45 minutes. We have our A2D Radio Fantasy Football Draft live on the air. I'll be on there. Andy will be moderating that. We're going to have a lot of your favorite personalities. So make sure that you guys check that out. And Ted, by the way, that Leo Rush interview.
Thanks, Chris.
Appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to A2D Radio. Set your alerts so you know when the shows come on. That's right. Prism was on. Those Fonzie episodes were great. Set your alerts so you know when we go live, and you'll be able to know, hey, Lazy Booking's going live. Hey, Birds of a Feather. Hey, Hockey Happy Hour. In this very ring, Agree to Disagree. All these shows are going live. You're going to know. So make sure you stay tuned. We got that hockey show coming up. And again, all week long. Tomorrow we have the Fix in the PM. Thursday, we're going to have Birds of a Feather and Hockey Happy Hour. Friday, On the Road to Victory. Saturday, we got a 3-piece coming at you. Kicking it stateside. the weekly roundup, and In This Very Ring. Sunday, the flagship, Agree to Disagree. Monday night, the Sports Hounds. And back to Tuesday next week, Birds of a Feather. And again, Lazy Booking will move back to our regularly scheduled Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Myself and Maddie, and if Andy wants to hop on, he's always welcome. Shout out to our sponsors, Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy on specializedphysicaltherapy.com, as well as PlayQB54. Promo code A2D gets you 20% off PlayQB54.com. Ambuck Services, AmbuckServices.com. Let them know. Let Michael Ambrose know that we sent you. You're going to get 20% off there, as well as Philly Drakers. You get a beautiful Lazy Booking shirt like my man Andy has there, or an In This Very Ring shirt, or an A2D, any A2D shirt, or you could get any show shirt here on A2D. Check them out. Alex running a great show over there at PhillyDrakers.com. And listen, again, you guys want to know where you can like, follow, and subscribe us? You got us. And we're not just shows, guys. We drop all kinds of sports content all week long, all day long. So if you're a big sports fanatic, and it's not just local here in the Philadelphia area, we're national. You can go and check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. That's where you're going to catch our shows live. Periscope. You check all those out live. If you missed them live, guys, don't worry about it. You can go back in the archives there. You can check us out there. Or if you like podcast form, don't worry about it. We got you covered. iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or iTunes, whatever you call it. Google Play, Spreaker, Spotify, SoundCloud. I think I got them all, right?
Yeah, you got them all.
That was impressive. I am impressed with myself.
You saw the wheels turning, the smoke flaring, as he's like, what do I say?
I was impressed, guys. I wanted to make sure thank you.
Only does it twice a week.
And I messed it up every time, but I managed to get through it this time.
Every time.
But thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your week. We got the rest of NXT, the cage match going on. That's going to be wrapping up soon. Myself and Andy, we'll see you guys in about a half an hour, 25 minutes. So, yeah. Yo, by the way, I am sexy as hell. Okay, it's chromium.
Are your boobs as big as that?
No.
Oh, okay, just double check.
For Chrome.
Stop! Whoa! Time out.
That's the first time Brinkman's ever been on a wrestling show.
For Chrome, for Maddie, the Ginger Gang. Boom. For Rich over here, for In This Very Ring, appreciate you, brother. For Ryan Brodo back on the ones and twos helping us out. And for all of you guys who joined us, appreciate your comments. We will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful night. Take care.